Vivek Rajpal from Nomura is now joining us. Vivek, what do you make of this recent crude slide, and how do you think it helps investors to analyze the macros of India?
Lower crude prices is very beneficial to India macro. It helps India on twin deficit front. On the fiscal side, we have to watch out for GST collections, etc. Having said that, on the current account front, lower oil definitely provides the needed gain. As far as asset classes in India are concerned, lower oil prices definitely help, especially the bond markets, as lower oil prices feeds into lower oil expectations, as well as, India's inflation trajectory has been surprising on the downside, at least from the headline inflation perspective, and lower oil prices further helps on that front. So I think, broadly speaking, bond yields should remain under downward pressure. Real yields in India are one of the highest in the region, along with Indonesia. And from that perspective, India assets should gain.
Vivek, when we just talk about the rates, the sort of currency move that you have seen, you think if the currency goes back to a slightly lower level, not back to the 65, 66 levels, but around the 70 mark, you think it will give enough stability for investors at this point of time, or any FI who wants to invest?
Well, yes. First of all, how the rupee behaves is also largely a function of dollar index, number one, and number two, how the EM risk sentiment in general is behaving. But then, because of lower oil prices and because of weaker commodity complex, Indian rupee tends to outperform or underperform in that scenario. And I believe more than levels, as far as Indian rupee is not an underperformer, which was the case when oil was going higher, investors should find value in various asset classes. Just before you asked me this question, there was somebody noting that flows have turned positive. And I think from that perspective, as far as rupee doesn't remain underperformer and it remains stable, there should be a positive flow dynamics towards various India assets.
Mr. Rajpal, thank you so much for giving us a perspective. On that note,